There is one question we all see a lot on gun forums and in the YouTube gun community. That question is, what 1911 should I buy? And that is such a hard question to answer because there are so many 1911s available these days. There's all kinds of different things to buy. Even Ruger's getting into the market now with 1911s. Seems like every manufacturer is jumping on the 1911 bandwagon. Oh, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's great to have options. But I think one of the things you have to take into consideration when you tell someone which one they should buy is what are they looking for? Now, if you're looking for like the lowest priced 1911 you can buy, one I would recommend would be Springfield Armory's GI series. Now, I've owned a lot of 1911s. At one time, I think I owned 14 at one time. Before I started diversifying my collection, I owned pretty much just 1911s and revolvers. So I'm only going to discuss the 1911s that I have owned personally or have personal experience with. I'm not going to talk to models that I don't own or never have owned or never have used. So my experience will be a little limited, but I'll give you the benefit of my experience here. Now, like I said, for lowest entry quality gun you can get, as far as I'm concerned, there's lots out there. You know, there's Rock River, there's Rock Island, and all kinds of other ones. But to me, the Springfield Armory GI series was the best of the entry-level guns I could find. And I really enjoyed that gun. It was a very basic 1911, but you could still modify it, work on it, upgrade it a little bit if you wanted. It's still a great gun for the money, especially the stainless model. So that would be my recommendation for if you're wanting the lowest model gun you can get. You know, just your basic entry 1911. Now, if you're looking for something to carry and you want nice features on it, but you don't want the most expensive gun in the world, but you want a good, reliable, quality 1911, and you want something that's lightweight and easy to shoot, accurate, reliable, there's all kinds of options. I've had several that fit that bill, some Colt Defender, several other models, Springfield Armories, but the one that I found the best, and I hate to say this because a lot of people are going to hate this, but the Kimber Pro Carry for the money was probably the best carry 1911 I've ever found, with an aluminum frame that was lightweight, that was well made, and that had good features. I really liked that gun. It was the first 1911 I ever bought myself for carry, and it was a great gun. I'm just not a big fan of aluminum frames, which is why I got rid of that gun. But I had bought it at a time when I used to carry outside waistband, and weight mattered more when I carried outside waistband. Now, if you're looking for a gun where you get the most for your money, like you want the most bells and whistles, but you don't have a ton of money to spend, and the less you spend, the better. Well, then I always recommend the Springfield Armory Loaded series. These guns come loaded down with features. They have ambi safeties, extended safeties. They have night sights, combat hammers, combat triggers, metal mainspring housings. I mean, they're just loaded down. That's why they're called the Loaded series. And you get the most bang for your buck, and you get a high quality, well-made gun. Now, they're not as polished as some of the higher guns, but they still are extremely well made. Now, if you're looking for something that's custom gun, well, you know, the world's your oyster. There's all kinds of custom gun makers out there. There's Ed Brown, there's Nighthawk, there's everything. It seems like a lot of companies are making good quality custom guns now. But one thing you have to remember when you buy a custom gun is you don't always get what you pay for. There is that law of diminishing returns. A $2,000 gun is not necessarily going to be twice as good as a $1,000 gun, and in fact it seldom is. When you're buying a custom gun, you're paying a lot of times for cosmetic things like special types of stippling on the grips, special types of serrations on the slide, a custom look, a name on the slide. But if you're buying a custom gun, you're probably aware of all that, and you are willing to pay for the things you want, whether they make sense or make it a better gun or not. Now, if you're wanting a gun that's of a nearly custom quality but still a production gun, you might want to look at the Dan Wessons. I've had several Dan Wessons. My Dan Wesson C-Bob was probably one of the best 1911s I've ever owned. The only problem with those now is they don't make those anymore, so the price on them has really gone up. They've gotten to where they're being priced out of being a practical gun. But still, you can look for them. You can occasionally find them for a good price under, $1,000 range, $1,100 range. And if you can, they're a great gun for that range. So I would suggest looking at them. They're nicely put together, very well finished. They are what I would call almost like a semi-custom level gun. But for people that are just looking for the best overall 1911 that they can upgrade, that isn't going to break the bank, that is just a great all-around 1911, my recommendation is the Colt Combat Commander, which is the one I've been holding here throughout the video. This gun is an excellent gun. It's well made. As you can see here, the tolerances are very nice. The finish is very nice. It's let it zoom in there. It's a very nice finish. The brushing is excellent. The flats are excellent. The bushing is fit very nicely in the front. It is not a full-length guide rod, but I'm not a person who believes you need a full-length guide rod. Now, like I say, it even has, if you look, even the edges, see that little diamond shape there? The edges are beveled. That's a nice feature. I really like that feature, those edges being beveled right there on the gun. Just shows a nice little extra touch in finishing. Like I say, these guns are very well made, very well finished, especially the newer guns where they do modern CNC machining now. You might want to avoid 80s model guns, but the modern guns and some of the older guns are really good. In fact, the modern guns are great. Now also, you can really do a lot of work on these. Now, things I've changed on this one is I've upgraded the trigger. I took out their standard black trigger. I've changed the grips. I've changed the mainspring housing from the striped plastic one to a stippled here, or whatever you want to call this metal one, stainless steel one. It's got the combat hammer. Now, the only thing I haven't changed that I'm going to change is I'm going to send it off and have the slide cut for night sights, and have night sights installed, have the front bevel cut and the back side a little deeper bevel cut and a flat added so that I can put night sights on the gun. Most gunsmiths will do that, especially if they sell the night sights. If you buy it from them, they will install them and charge you a minimal fee for the actual machining. But like I say, this gun, get this and you can work on it, you can fix it, you can upgrade it. I have gone through the internals on this gun. You know, if you've got a piece of emery cloth and some oil, you can make these guns run as good as custom guns. You might have to, I think I replaced like $30 worth of small parts in there to change out some mem pieces to some forged pieces, and just went through and really polished everything up internally. And now my friend has an Ed Brown, a $2,300, I think Ed Brown is what those go for. This gun outshoots it from a vise, and it's just as reliable. So if it's just as reliable, just as well made, it's not as pretty, but it's just as well made. And actually, I think it's almost as pretty because I like the more cut basic look. But if it's just as well made and just as reliable and outshoots it accuracy wise, is that Ed Brown really worth more than this gun, which I have about $1,000 in? Is that $2,300 gun really twice as good as this gun? Not to me. I mean, I am sometimes willing to pay for looks, but not to that extent. That doesn't mean I still don't want an Ed Brown. I still do want one. If it's a point to where the money isn't a factor, I will definitely get one. But that just goes to show you, like I say, a $2,000 gun isn't always better than a $1,000 gun. Like I said, when you're paying for custom, you're often paying for looks. But so when it comes down to it, there's all kinds of different guns I recommend for different wants. But for the overall 1911, if you're not sure what you want and you just want the best 1911 experience you can get a Colt Combat Commander. And as you go down the line, you can fix it up how you want, modify it how you want. Like I said, I had the XSE of this one, which is the more modified version of this one, more done up. But I like this one better because it's more plain and simple. And I can change it to how I want it. So Colt Combat Commander, you can add anything to it you want to add to it. And if you ever do have to resell it, it's a Colt. Colts resell easily. So there you have my best choice for overall 1911.